The socialist summer is in full swing, and they are here to destroy the Democrat Party. In fact, things are so bad that just in a span of 12 hours, multiple Democrat candidates and politicians were booed, heckled, chased away from what they were doing. Just yesterday, Chuck Schumer was marching in New York City's Pride parade, where he was booed all along the parade route. Take a look at this.
I was the first senator to ever ride, and I'm not the last. Hi, everybody. So I was the first senator to ever march in this parade, 1999, and I haven't missed one yet. Folks, I was also the first state leader.
Don't forget, we were once told that pride parades were all about equality, acceptance, diversity. Yet clearly that's not the case because they're booing Chuck Schumer, who, by the way, happens to be Jewish, the oldest Jewish politician in our federal system. I mean, it really is a shame here, and that's what this is about. There really is growing anti-Semitism on the left. Obviously, there's a rise in socialism and all these crazy ideas, but it's really been married with this strain of unabashed anti-Semitism in the Democrat Party. And it's not just on the East Coast, not just in New York City. The same situation actually happened yesterday in California, where State Senator Scott Wiener was harassed, heckled, and ultimately chased away from a pride parade. Specifically, they were celebrating trans people, and they were chanting anti-Jewish slogans at him. Keep in mind, just like Chuck Schumer, he also is Jewish.
Scott, I think your legislation on trans issues and your legislation specifically protecting queers on the sex offender registry is fantastic. I really applaud you for that, and I think you deserve to be here for that. But I think your housing policy, and specifically your housing policy aligning with YIMBYs, and I think your policy, and I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza, and I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza is terrible. I think you don't belong here. You do not belong here. You do not belong here, Scott, anymore. It sucks because you've been wonderful. You've been wonderful for trans people, and you've been terrible. And you've been terrible. You've been terrible. You've been terrible on Gaza. You do not belong here anymore, Scott, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that someone who wrote good legislation for queers is so terrible on Gaza. Scott, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say about Gaza?
It's really ironic because Chuck Schumer, when he was threatening the Supreme Court, he told the justices, "You release the whirlwind and you will pay the price." Well, the Democrats released this whirlwind on themselves. Clearly, they are paying the price. The moderate, the establishment part of the Democrat Party, they are being destroyed. They are being eaten alive from the inside out, and it's very clear where the party is headed. They are going to be destroyed and dominated by the most radical and extreme voices inside their tent, inside their coalition. And guess what? All the heckling, all of this Democrat civil war, it didn't stop there. It also happened when Joe Biden went up to the East Coast yesterday. He was campaigning, trying to hype up Democrats for the midterms. Now, talk about a terrible strategy. You're going to bring out Joe Biden to hype up Democrat voters ahead of the midterms? Yeah, that's not a very smart idea, but they brought him out on stage. Wonder how much he was paid for that. And as you can imagine, he was confused. He was a little sleepy. When he ended his speech, he couldn't find his way off stage. But where this ties into all of this is he was actually interrupted multiple times in the middle of his speech by, again, you guessed it, pro-Gaza, pro-Hamas protesters who were chanting Genocide Joe.
It's a battle that's never truly over. And well, look, while I can't sugarcoat it, These are indeed dark days. Let's remember.
These are indeed dark days for the Democrat Party, but hopefully that means it's going to be good days for the Republicans and good days for the rest of the country. I mean, if the Democrat Party is failing with these ideas, hopefully that turns out to be a good thing. Well, this rise in socialist and communist ideas have been spearheaded by the DSA, and that also means, by definition, by extension, their poster child, Zohran Mamdani in New York City. While he endorsed those three socialist candidates in the city, they won their primaries, which means they'll be elected in November because there is no legitimate Republican competition. So it's pretty much a done deal. Well, he actually went on ABC this morning, and Jonathan Karl started asking him, hey, what do you think about these extremist policies? Do you agree with them? Do you have any pushback? And it was really telling, right? Because Chevalier, who won in New York, the socialist, the one who said that she wants to destroy Western civilization, she is against borders. She is against police. She's even against jails. Like, she was asked, hey, if there is a murderer, should a murderer be put in jail? And she couldn't even say yes to that. Well, Zohran Mamdani was asked about this, and if you listen closely to his answer, it's actually really alarming.
But how does abolishing prisons or having open borders fit into that? I mean, do you see how those are ideas that a lot of your Democrats that are warning about what happened here say are toxic. Most of America won't go along with it, are bad ideas. They're dangerous ideas.
I think what the focus of her race was, what the focus of her candidacy was about the struggle that working people are facing. And I think that we can have disagreements on policy positions. What we have to agree on is what are we fighting for and who are we fighting for? She showed that in her race, and I think that many people will come to appreciate that in her leadership to come.
So we can disagree on something as basic as whether or not there should be prisons?
That's
not your position.
There are prisons,
yes.
And what we're also showing in this city is that safety is not something that's up for debate.
There are prisons? Gee, thanks, Captain Obvious. The sky is blue, the grass is green, milk should be served cold. I mean, all of these are obvious statements. He didn't actually answer the question. He didn't actually refute the allegation or what Chevalier is promoting. He didn't clarify whether or not he believes that there should be prisons or whether prisons should be abolished. And we all know that he couldn't say that because, well, if he actually says it publicly, especially on national TV, then his point of view, his party, the Democrat Party, is going to be rejected. But fortunately, there's a thing called the internet, and some things live forever. He was doing an online show, and he was actually asked about prisons, and he said, well, what purpose do they serve? Again, Chevalier said that murderers should not go to prison. And here we have Zohran Mamdani himself on camera questioning why prisons even exist in the first place.
Are prisons obsolete?
Whew, coming through with the quotes, coming through with the titles of the books. I have to read that, actually. I haven't read that as yet. But I think that, frankly, I mean, what purpose do they serve? Right? I think we have to ask ourselves that, which is that, you know, I think a lot of people who defend the carceral state, they defend the idea of it and the way it makes them feel.
Absolutely crazy. He is really media savvy. He's not saying, no, we shouldn't say have prisons. He's not saying anything that can be quoted easily, cut and been made into a campaign ad, right? But when you actually listen to his words, when you listen to his refusal to answer simple yes or no questions, it's really clear just how extreme he is. And so that's what makes this new brand of Democrat socialists, in reality, they're just flat out socialists, in some cases communists, really scary, is that they're really good at media manipulation. They're really good at putting on a face, at mass communication. And because people don't pay attention to the news like we do, because most people get their information from, unfortunately, just their phones, from social media, just the headlines, the cropped versions that get shared on Instagram and Facebook, these tiny clips that go viral on TikTok. Oh, this guy looks likable, therefore I'm going to vote for him. Because of that, a lot of people are going to get suckered in to supporting these extreme candidates. Well, the good news for the rest of us is, even though the Democrat Party has, by and large, shifted radically to the left, believe it or not, there are still some moderate, sane Democrats. John Fetterman is a good example. And yes, I get that he votes with Democrats most of the time, but at least he has the spine. He has the courage to call out someone as radical as Chevalier. And it's happening a lot when someone, not just like John Fetterman, but hey, James Carville is saying, this isn't my Democrat Party. I have to leave the party. It's clear that people are waking up. Bill Maher just recently, I made a video on this on his show Friday, telling JD Vance, hey, if the Democrat Party keeps going this direction, my vote is in play. I think you're going to see this huge awakening. And that's why I opened with the clips that I opened with. You have Jewish Democrats, Chuck Schumer, Scott Wiener, being booed on stage, being heckled as if it's 1930s Germany. Wait a minute, I thought President Trump, I thought the Republicans, they were supposed to be the Nazis. Yet we're actually seeing this from the left. So you're seeing this Democrat civil war. It's the establishment versus this insurgency, and it makes you wonder who's going to win. Well, actually, we know the answer to that. It's the side that is digging in and willing to fight for their cause. And unfortunately, that's not the moderate part of the Democrat Party. It's the extremists. It's the insurgents who are clearly putting up a fight here. You have the leadership like Elizabeth Warren, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer playing footsie with these extremists, with these insurgents. Clearly, they're blinded by their own hunger for power. Here was Chris Murphy on the news earlier today, unwilling to disavow, denounce these extremists. Instead, he was apologizing for them. He was trying to excuse their behavior.
So to be clear, Senator, that was an attack ad from a fellow Democrat. You've talked about this bigger tent. If you're saying the Democratic Party needs a bigger tent, does that include someone who called a former Democratic president of the United States a rapist?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not super familiar with that race. All I'm saying is that this party has to have a real contest of ideas. And I just don't think that our defense of incrementalism has worked. So I don't mind a contest of ideas. And I just don't know that we have had it to the extent that voters have been satisfied.
Oh, we just need a bigger tent. Yeah, he wants a bigger tent with people who are ultimately going to destroy his party, destroy his power, and want to destroy the country. I mean, there is no other way to interpret, destroy Western civilization. You cannot coexist peacefully in the same tent with those people. I'm sorry, Democrats, but it is quite literally impossible. So all this talk of a big tent, it's just a talking point because they've been saying that again and again. That's been their defense of what happened this past Tuesday in New York. Oh, we need to be the party of big ideas. We need a big tent. But if you are sharing a space with murderers, if you're sharing a space with extremists, guess what? You, sooner or later, are going to be the victim. And that's why even the most crazy Democrats, James Carville, Bill Maher, they're saying, hey, we've had enough. We are on our way out. But before we get into that, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club. They are Jeremy 2001 Happy, Deanne Berger, RL 1401, Pete Street Scruffett, NRA 1776, Heston, Jenny Rankin McTrim, Don Frank, and Glenn Kenny. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you enjoy. Well, I've made a few videos over the last couple of days about this exploding Democrat civil war. You got James Carville saying, I am leaving this party, and I thought it was really interesting that he didn't say that he wanted to kick them out, but rather that he was kicked out. You have Bill Maher on his show telling JD Vance, hey, my vote is up in play. I could see myself voting for you or Marco Rubio. Well, James Carville actually continued on this train of thought. He went on Fox News, of all places. Think of that. James Carville, someone who is suffering clearly from TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, going on Fox News saying, actually, I want nothing to do with the Democrat Party if this is the way they're going.
I don't know how people describe themselves at all. That's one thing. How they vote is another. Jason Crow, we've recruited veterans all across the country, vote vets. We've been in a lot of seats like that. And these are the kind of Democrats that I want to help and be a part of the same party. I don't have anything in common with Ms. Chevalier, and I really don't want to be in the same party she's in.
Well, unfortunately, people like Ms. Chevalier are taking over your party, James Carville, and people like you are to blame. This is exactly what happens when you say, hey, we're all about inclusion and equality. It doesn't matter. Oh, you don't have to assimilate. Just come over here. We'll accept you. Well, when the radicals and the insurgents come in because of your crazy open border policies, clearly, not just for the country, but even in your party where you don't have to share the same values, the same core goals and ideas, This is what happened. You bring destruction onto yourself. As Chuck Schumer once said, you created the whirlwind and you will pay the price. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So what do you think? Are all of these events connected? Chuck Schumer getting booed, Scott Wiener, Joe Biden getting booed. I mean, it's been happening all weekend, all week long, really, ever since Tuesday. Do you think that this is because of a strain of this socialist and anti-Semitic movement growing in the Democrat Party, or do you think these are just fringe moments that are tailor-made for social media? They're getting everyone's attention and they don't actually represent the Democrat Party as a whole. So which side are you? This is a sign of turmoil in the Democrat Party, or these are just the fringes and it's great for social media, but the Democrat Party is going to do what they're going to do? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.